Let's start with boxing. In a very rare twist on this show, it looks like the trilogy is on July 24th, T-Mobile Arena, right down the street here in Las Vegas. It's going to be the WBC champion, I believe, Tyson Fury, defending against Deontay Wilder. Now, for those of you who have been following this story, Fury was scheduled to fight Anthony Joshua in August in Saudi Arabia, but there was an independent arbitrator who recently ruled that Wilder was entitled to a third fight. So the show goes on July 24th at T-Mobile Arena. We will have it on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. These two fought in 2018 to a draw, in which Wilder put Fury on the mat in the 12th round. Should have been the end of the fight. Fury somehow gets up. Draw. Second fight was in February of 2020, and you had Tyson Fury winning by 7th round TKO. So your opening line for the trilogy, Tyson Fury minus 280, Deontay Wilder plus 230. Initial thoughts before we get to the bet.
Yeah, I think for Deontay Wilder, this is kind of a pivot point in his career, his legacy. At one point, he was regarded as kind of the great next hope for American heavyweight boxing, someone who, I don't know when it was going to reach that, Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson level, but relative to where boxing is right now versus the late 80s, early 90s, he could certainly get to that point. Then he had the draw, then he had the loss to Fury, and all that momentum for his legacy and his career kind of stopped. So I think there's a pivotal bout for him to reclaim that sort of mantle or label as this generation's great American heavyweight champ.
It's a great call mentioning Mike Tyson in the comparison, because that's essentially who Wilder was. 41 fights, 41 knockouts prior to the draw with Fury, and then the loss to Fury. The guy is as electric as it comes in the ring. Initial thoughts here. I wasn't all that gassed up about seeing Fury and Joshua in Saudi Arabia in August. I would have watched it. The problem is Joshua's a very defensive fighter. Think about a really beefy, really chiseled heavyweight version of Floyd Mayweather. You don't get a lot of action. He's very technically sound, but while that would have made for one style of fight against Fury, this is what the fans want to see. They want to see two guys trying to knock each other's heads off, which is exactly what this should deliver. Now, with that being said, Fury comes into this as a sizable favorite. How would you bet it as of now? You're not locked in.
Yeah, I would take the dog here, plus 230. I think it's a very live dog. Someone who has the knockout power of Deontay Wilder. I'm getting plus money on that wager. Yeah, I will take that, especially given the fact that this is the final opportunity. There's not going to be a fourth fight. This is the final opportunity for Wilder to prove he's the better fighter than Tyson Fury. Now, it'll be 1-1-1 on the scorecard, so to speak, if he wins this fight. But if he wins this and then somehow gets a fight with Joshua and those contrasting styles in the future, then he could really lay claim to that best heavyweight of this generation, the guy who had the closest to Mike Tyson knockout power.
All right, so this is going to be perhaps the lamest answer in the history of this show, but I don't really have a bet as of right now on the side. I want to bet the total. That's the problem. You see how it's phrased there? I'm waiting on props. Like I said, lamest answer in show history, but here's what this comes down to. Wilder's got the one-punch knockout power. He can end it. And because of that, I don't want to lay the price with Fury. But I also don't want to bet on Wilder because I saw what happened in fight number 2. Fury figured him out. That wasn't a close fight leading up to the TKO. That was an absolute annihilation. On the cards, it was 59-52, 59-52, 58-53 before the fight was stopped. I don't know if Wilder, who's never been a polished fighter, very raw, very powerful, I don't know if he's done enough in the last year to get past a guy like Tyson Fury, but we'll see. That's why I'm waiting on props. And again, the lamest answer in show history.
Well, at least you acknowledge it.
I figure I'd get ahead of it. Like the one time I waxed my eyebrows, I started making all the jokes early, so I took the steam out of everyone's engine.
Wait, was this before, during, after courtship with wife?
We're all out of time.
Oh.
We're all out of time right here.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.